the Frida Cinema. Where's the bag? Home Imagining Festival is playing right now. The 12th annual Horrible Imaginings Film Festival is upon us right now. We're being interrupted right now. Video live. Sorry, folks. We haven't moved the cigarette. There you go. So it's Frida Cinema. All right. So this guy just made a new friend, giving out cigarettes like he always does. Take two. Frida Cinema. 12th annual horror film festival. They're in Santa Ana now at the Frida Cinema.
The Frida Cinema, and it's hosted by Horrible Imaginings.
Yes, sir. So
Miguel and
support. Yeah, people under the stairs. They said they have a Q&A, a panel afterwards. So we're hoping that maybe we get some LP signed. Holy.
It will be worth the wait. Without any further ado, I want to invite onto stage Mr. Sean Whalen from the film we're going to see tonight. The People Under the Stairs. Welcome. I am going to invite to the stage Kelly Jo Minter from the. You look fantastic. And I'm going to invite to the stage who I've already been discussing because we just had a great chat, Mr. Sean Birch. Come on down. I do want to ask Sean, since I was curious.
Sorry, it's a little hot in here.
Yes, please. It is very. It's.
Please, don't take more off. I've seen it. You don't want to.
How's the zombie aneurysm?
That is a good question because I just opened it. Hold on. That is a very good beer.
It was a very good beer.
You can buy it outside in the concession stand. Very good
He's
beer.
getting 10%.
15. You said 15.
I remain mum. We have two mics. I'm going to have the three of you share them. I'll be around in case anybody has questions, but I think I will just get the conversation started by saying thank you for being here. Holy cats. Sterling, can I get the other microphone? And then it's been quite a ride can you believe it's been 30 years since this film came out? I saw it in the theater with my mom and my little brothers.
Well, that's scary.
And I was not. Yes. It's been unforgettable ever since. We bought it on home video shortly thereafter because we watched it constantly, me and my little brothers. It felt very real to us.
How old were you?
I think I was, do you really want to know? I was
Yeah.
13.
We've had people at conventions say stuff like 5 and 6.
They were 5, 6, 3. Yeah.
Oh, well, my daughter's 3 and she's seen it. So whatever that says about me.
But it's one of those movies, though. It's one of those movies, and I've never ever experienced a horror movie like that before, where people come up to us all the time in conventions and these Q&As and screenings, and they say, "Hey, I saw it when I was 5. I saw it when I was 7." I'm like, really?
I was not allowed to see the Twilight Zone because I would have nightmares. So. Oh no, Night Gallery.
But to answer the question, do we feel like it's 30 years ago? I don't, because look at me. She doesn't. Sean does.
What do you look at? You look like a hippie Santa Claus. How can I feel like 30 years to you? Sorry, we give each other shit all the time.
We do this, just so you know, this is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
We love each other.
There's only a few of us that have ever done People Under the Stairs 30 years ago. So.
Did this relationship start with that film that you have?
I didn't really work with you guys that much at all. I mostly worked with Brandon, and we never saw each other outside of makeup.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. No, seriously, but we
No, we never saw each other.
outside of makeup
No.
because
We saw each other during the day, but we didn't shoot
But
the same
I
scenes.
think I only had one scene when you were that one down in the basement scene where I'm around you.
Yeah.
That's the only time, really.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
we
Kelly,
really.
I never worked with you.
I never worked with you either. I don't think, right? No, I worked a lot with Brandon,
Yeah, me
which
too.
we all did, obviously.
I worked with
And-
Brandon and AJ the most.
Yeah, AJ too. I worked with AJ and Brandon and the rest of the posse under the stairs, obviously. Was in almost every scene I was, except the scenes with Brandon and when AJ, when I had the single scenes with them, and with Wendy Roby, I had some single scenes when I actually came out of the stairs, which is kind of cool because obviously you have to have that scene in a movie called The People on the Stairs and you're the stairmaster. There was one, Wes was very excited about that scene because he said, "See, let's back up for a second." So most of the movie on the inside scenes was shot in a studio, Renmo Studios in Hollywood. It was all the sets were built. So the staircase scene with Randy was originally on the stage, but Wes was like, let's push it, and then we finally shot in the actual house, in the end of the movie. And they had this staircase and they had everything. And one morning, Wes was just standing there with his arm crossed and he had the biggest smile on his face. And I walked up to him and I said, what's up? He said, "We got the stair scene right now. You're gonna come out of those stairs." I'm like, "But this is how? Can you actually do that?" He said, "We can do whatever you want. I'll just pay for it afterwards." So we had this stair. Me and Wendy had that when I came out of the stairs, which was a great scene.
I never worked at the house ever because of the real house. Kelly, you worked at the house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Hi, everybody.
Hey, oh yeah. First of all, hold on, let's all do that.
Yes.
Thank you all
Yes.
for being here,
Coming.
of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was there.
Where was your apartment? Was that in Renmar Studios too?
No, I think that was at Universal.
They had some stages at Universal.
Yeah, I was at
and then
Universal
Renmar.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at Renmar the whole time, and then the house. In the end, all the scenes walking out of the house and the house actually exploding. That was in the house. They blew that roof off. That's not special effects. That's not green screen.
Wow.
They actually blew the roof off the house. So that was real.
And all the money too.
The money came, that was not great. See, this is 1991, you have to remember. There was not like the Mecca blue screen and green screen, whatever. You got it, the production designer and the set designer and the director and the DP, they had to really figure this shit out in those days. They're like, how can we make money fly from heaven after an explosion? The only way to do it in those days, have the explosion and put a shitload of money in the house and it blows out. They actually did that. Full-blown, flow reel. And when Everett McGill, this is another side story, but Everett McGill was, blown up. That, and most people probably won't know this, that stuntman broke his back on that scene.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that was a very big scare for Universal. When that happened, he did not land on the mat after he landed from the house. He landed beside the mat. Yep. So that was, I think, one of the only sad parts about the movie. I know he survived, and I don't know how he feels today, but he did actually break his back from that explosion. Because the explosion was real. That's what my whole point is. Everything you see in that movie, it's not effects. It's not visual effects. It's not green screen. It's not blue screen. We did it.
We have to go to more of Jan's lectures about the movie more often.
We're all learning something.
We're all learning stuff. Did you have another question?
I do. And I'll just speak loudly. You can hold on to the mics. But I'm very curious, really quickly, about Wes Craven is very well known as a very conscientious director, and the real life story that inspired The People Under the Stairs. We've all heard, I'm sure. I might have you recount it for our audience, if you will. But I'm wondering also how much he shared that with you during production, or if that was just...
I never knew
Right.
that was inspired off a real article during production. I learned that later. Did you know, Kelly?
I asked him about it. I mean, Wes was one of those kind of people, you'd be having lunch and you'd be like, what? The stories that he would tell, because I was asking him about the serpent and the rainbow. And
Nice.
I mean, he was charismatic, but I'm very, very blessed and fortunate that I have had the opportunity to work with him as a director and also work on Nightmare on Elm Street as well. Les was dope, but I did have that conversation with him.
I didn't know the details. I did know because me and Wes used to have these moments. Somehow I became like, besides Brandon's grandmother, I became like Brandon's guardian in her opinion and in Wes's opinion. So Wes is always like, oh, where's Brandon, where's AJ? Somehow, I don't know if the Stairmaster just reflected off him. I was supposed to take care of people, which I didn't mind at all. So we had our moments where he just kicked back and we had a lot of talks. So as far as he went as far as telling me at one day, and I didn't really get it until after the movie, he told me the real story, but he said, this really happened. That's all he said. And I'm like, what? He said, well, let's go back to set. So, but after the fact, he told me, it was this sister and brother in Santa Monica in the 70s who kidnapped kids because they were sister and brother and they wanted kids and they were extremely conservative, religious, and you couldn't speak or hear or, say no evil. And they didn't
really cut the...
They didn't cut the ears off, they didn't saw them out, they didn't do any of that stuff. And I don't think they killed everybody that came to the door and fed. That cannibalism thing, that was more fiction.
Yeah.
But they did kidnap to get a perfect child. I mean, that was the main story. And they were slumlords, and they treated their tenants like crap. They owned the whole block in Santa Monica. All that's true. That's based on a true story. And the fun part of this, and you might have heard me say on other conventions or Q&As, but until Scream, Wes Craven dreamed every single thing he ever wrote. That's what he told me. Anyway, so I'm just quoting him now. And he said, I read this story in LA Times a long time ago. He said, but it never really developed. It never really came to me. Like, how am I going to do this? It's such an interesting story. And he wanted to do the black kid being the actual hero. It's a very political movie in a way that people don't really see until now they start realizing it, with Jordan Peele highlighting all these issues, even with Candyman, he's making it political, which is good, by the way. I'm saying it's great that they actually starting to see why these people are making these movies and what they are saying. But what he did say to me, it took me like almost 20 years to dream this story after reading it. So one morning at 3 a.m. he said, I just woke up, I know how to do it, I wrote the script, and now we're filming it.
It's crazy.
I wanted to add one little piece that I've read, and I've always felt that this was a political film. I've always felt it. I think there are some of us with a certain experience who will feel that. But so apparently that couple, they were caught because a neighbor called the cops because they saw black kids breaking in. And when the cops went because of that, they discovered this far greater horror.
Oh, wow.
And that was, so I'm wondering what you think, if Wes had said to each of you, like, this is what this is, do you think he was afraid that might have colored your performances at all or anything?
I think he just tried to keep us grounded and real. I mean, the definition of acting, what I studied with Meisner is
Really?
Is you were too busy giving lectures.
You study?
Is living truthfully under imaginary circumstance. So he set up a crazy circumstance. You know, he told me I'm a, happy-go-lucky kid who just happens to live between the walls and got my tongue cut out, and but that's kind of where he focused stuff. I don't think he wanted to go anywhere, just with me, I know he just wanted me, well, I went in the audition, he just said, just do what you were doing in the audition. He had fun, like Roach had fun. And Roach, some interviews years later, someone said, who would you rather be, or who do you think is the best character you played? And I go, I think it is Roach, because I didn't play him, he's a hero. I just played him, he thinks he's having a good time messing with the people. And he's having a good time protecting the little girl. And he's having a good time helping Fool to save her. Even when he's dying, he's still trying to have a good time and keep it light. So, and when you look back on it, you go, oh, and Wes knew that. And that's why he was a martyr and a hero. And people go, that's why I couldn't believe that Roach had that much impact. And I'm only on screen for like 10 minutes. But because he wrote such a good part. So he kept I just think it's the simplicity of each person's performance. Because I don't think, it's just like when big things, then it just clouds, things. I think he just wanted us to keep it real, so then his movie could make that statement and not necessarily our performance.
And I think it was just interesting that you had a young black kid as the lead character in a big Universal film. You know what I mean? You just weren't seeing that. And I did a lot of films at that time, and it's kind of like, okay, you are the token black person. Let's fill this quota. You know what I mean? He had balls to do that. You know what I mean? Not to say there weren't other films up at the time, but they weren't many, and they weren't urban, and they weren't really getting a pulse of the street and things that were happening. So that was super cool.
Yeah.
Yes. So well deserved. Such an honor. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm a kid in a candy store right now.
Thank you very much.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Oh, hey, Peter Jackson, move your bullets out of the way.
What? Are my bullets in the way?
What time is it?
Clock shows 1:21.
1:21. We're leaving Santa Ana, the Frida Cinema Theater. The
Dark
Horrible
as it is,
Imagining.
there
There
we
it
go.
is. Horrible Imagining Film Festival. Still going on tomorrow. It's been all weekend long, but we went tonight because they had the screening for People Under the Stairs, which was awesome. They had 3 people from the movie there.
30th anniversary. It wasn't, highly publicized who was going to be there. Nice surprise guests. They had
Sean
Sean
Whalen.
Whalen, who played Roach.
Mm-hmm.
They had Jan, who was the Stairmaster, the guy who was, the leader. And then, of course,
Brandon Rogers' sister. It was Lisa.
Yes, Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, she was. It was a wonderful panel. Hopefully, you got a chance to see it.
That footage. Yep.
And it was just a 30-year anniversary. Cannot believe that.
Yeah.
I'm looking back at that. 91.
Yeah.
I was going to basic training. I was off to the Army.
Yeah, see, 91. Yeah, I was not even in high school yet. Yeah. Which is crazy though, but shout out to Miguel and having the festival, that it's back and running again and live, not just online, virtual like you did did a couple years ago or last year, he said. So it was just cool to be there in person again, and just want to help support the festival, you know, and let them know that we appreciate it, and if they keep doing stuff like that, you know, like I said, he was in San Diego, but since he moved down here, now it's here in Santa Ana.
So it's at the Frida Cinema.
Yeah, which is
Santa
awesome. It's a
Ana.
cool theater.
You go online, look up the Horrible Imaginings Film Festival.
Yep.
So they're still doing streaming for at least a couple more days. So if you missed out on anything, didn't get a chance to see
That's
the
right. You can go
shorts,
online, register, and you can watch some other shorts. Yeah.
Yep, they're gonna be playing those for the next couple of days,
Yeah.
at least till September 10th, I think, or the 12th.
You have any of your albums right here? Get footage because we had to be all secretive and
because of COVID, we
Yeah.
wanted to be safe and careful.
it took some work, it took some effort, but
So,
we got.
oh
Upside
yeah,
down?
there it is, upside down.
So that's the album. This
So-
one didn't get signed,
But
don't worry.
they finally, after all this time,
Finally got
released
released
on
it.
LP Terror Vision, People Under the Stairs. And yeah, oop, upside down again.
Boom. Look at
Oh,
that.
there we go.
And
Yeah.
The red right there. Ooh, that one came out a little bit. She just signed really fast, but you can see it. It's right there. Look at that. The red right there, though.
Yeah, that
And then-
was rad.
That's good. And
And
another
then
one.
see, there it is.
Oh yeah. See, this one came out a little
Now
bit
the
on
silver.
Bam.
Silver deco
pop.
color.
Damn. Look at that one. That one came out nice.
So it was 3 of them. They were
Yeah,
very
buddy.
sweet, very kind.
So cool.
You know, we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Speak no evil. Sean Whalen wrote on there, and he wrote "Beware, Stairmaster." Speak no evil. Yeah, and beware again. Oh, those came out sick. Stoked, man. They came out awesome.
So if you haven't picked up the score, it was on CD back in the 90s.
Yep.
But this is the first time it's ever been released on
Yes,
vinyl.
sir. Yes, sir.
So TerraVision, there's 3 different
Check it out.
variants right now, for now, and I believe they're still available. So check those out
yeah.
as well.
So really fun time. Spur of the moment. Scott called me up. You want to go? I'm like, sure. It's in Santa Ana. Why not?
I had 3 hours of sleep last night.
That's
You want
right.
to do what?
Yeah, but it was worth it. It was so much fun. Got the signatures. We deliver. We go for them. We try it. We did it. That's how I do it. Yeah.
Bam.
So till the next event, we'll see you. Thanks for watching.
Thank you guys. Peace. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the like button down below.
Smash it.
Get more for you.
Adios.